Have you ever faced a moment where one decision could change everything? Today, we're diving into a powerful story that might just shift the way you see life. Stick around, because this one comes with a twist you won't see coming. Let's get started. Chapter 1. The beginning of a journey. Ryan was sitting in front of his desk, trying to focus on the task at hand, but his mind kept wandering. The clock ticked slowly, and each passing minute felt like an eternity. His screen showed the same email he'd been drafting for hours, but no matter how hard he tried, the words wouldn't come. He had been staring at that blinking cursor, waiting for the perfect sentence to flow, but it never did. His office was a modest space, cluttered with papers, books, and a coffee mug that had long since gone cold. Despite the mess, there was an order to it, a sort of creative chaos that Ryan had learned to live with. But today, it felt like everything was out of place. He needed guidance. Should I even be doing this? What if it's the wrong choice? Ryan muttered to himself, rubbing his temples in frustration. It was then that his phone rang. Sophie's name flashed on the screen. Sophie had been his mentor for years, always offering guidance when Ryan needed it most. "Hey, Sophie," Ryan said, answering the call. "I think I need your advice." Again. "Ryan." Sophie's voice came through the phone, calm and soothing. "What's on your mind?" "I'm stuck, Sophie. I've been working on this project for weeks, and I don't know if it's the right direction. What if it fails?" Sophie was silent for a moment before replying. "It's not about failure, Ryan. It's about trust. Trust in yourself. We all face moments of doubt. It's a part of the journey." Chapter 2. The encounter with Lucas. Later that day, Ryan met up with his best friend Lucas at a local cafe. Lucas was the type of guy who always saw the bright side of life, no matter the circumstances. Ryan envied that about him, but sometimes it felt like Lucas didn't fully understand the weight of his worries. "Man, you look like you haven't slept in days," Lucas said, taking a seat across from Ryan. "I haven't," Ryan sighed. "I've been trying to figure out what to do with this project. I'm afraid it's all going to crash and burn." Lucas smiled and leaned back in his chair. "Look, Ryan, I get it. You're scared. But you can't let that stop you. I've seen you push through worse." Ryan shook his head. "But what if it's not enough this time?" "You can't know that unless you try," Lucas replied. "All you have is today. You make the decision and you go for it. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, you learn and move on. But you can't just sit here wondering forever." Chapter 3. The decision. Ryan didn't sleep that night. His mind was racing, replaying the conversation with Sophie, the words of encouragement from Lucas. He knew they were right, but the fear still clung to him, like a weight on his chest. The next morning, he sat at his desk, staring at the blinking cursor on his screen. His hands hovered over the keyboard, but no words came. Just then, Sophie's voice echoed in his mind. "It's not about being ready. It's about trusting yourself, even when you don't feel ready." Ryan took a deep breath and clicked open the email he had been avoiding for days. His fingers typed with determination, but his mind was still clouded. He was scared, unsure of what the outcome would be. But something inside him urged him forward. His finger hovered over the send button. His heart raced. What if it was the wrong choice? What if it all fell apart? With a sigh, Ryan closed his eyes for a moment and pressed send. Chapter 4. The encounter with the mysterious stranger. That afternoon, Ryan received an unexpected visit. There was a knock on his door, and when he opened it, a man was standing there. An older man with sharp eyes and an air of mystery around him. "Can I help you?" Ryan asked, confused. "You're Ryan, right?" the man asked, his voice low and deliberate. "Yeah. Who are you?" Ryan replied, his curiosity piqued. The man smiled faintly. "I'm here to show you something. Something that will change the way you look at your decision." Ryan was taken aback. "What do you mean?" "I've been where you are," the stranger said, stepping into the room. "And I know what you're afraid of. But the truth is, fear is just an illusion. It holds us back from reaching what's meant for us." Chapter 5: The Plot Twist. As the stranger spoke, Ryan couldn't shake the feeling that he had heard those words before, but from Sophie. But the stranger's presence felt different, almost like a shadow looming over him. "Are you telling me I should ignore my fears?" Ryan asked, still trying to understand what the stranger meant. "No," the man replied, his voice growing more intense. "I'm telling you to understand your fears. Accept them and move past them. Your fear is not your enemy. It's a part of the process. It teaches you what you need to know." Ryan frowned. "But how do you know all this? Who are you?" The man chuckled softly. "I'm just a reminder that you already have everything you need inside you. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking action, even when everything seems uncertain." Ryan was about to ask more questions when the stranger began to walk toward the door. "Remember, Ryan, the right choice is the one you make. The only wrong choice is not choosing at all." Chapter 6: The Moment of Clarity. As the mysterious man left, Ryan stood still, trying to process everything he had just heard. The weight on his shoulders began to lift. Sophie's words, Lucas' encouragement, and the stranger's cryptic message, all of them had one common theme: action. Fear would always be there, but it wasn't something to be avoided. It was something to be understood and then moved through. Ryan sat back at his desk and, for the first time in days, felt a sense of peace wash over him. He had made the decision. It wasn't about success or failure, it was about moving forward. He opened his email again, not to send it this time, but to read it one last time. His words were imperfect, but they were his, and that was enough. Chapter 7: The Journey Ahead. Ryan stood up from his desk and walked to the window, looking out at the horizon. The world outside seemed full of possibilities, waiting for him to take the next step. The future was unknown, but it was his to shape. He wasn't sure what would happen next, but he knew this: the journey had already begun. Did you enjoy this story? If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot and lets me know you want more content like this. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. See you in the next one.